What's going on our YouTube? Back again on the West-made Peterbilt RCratrod. I'm not doing anything on the suspension on this video. I'm taking a week off here from chassis and we're moving to the body. I've painted the body a satin red, only because I was thinking of patina and I went with the only red I had any paint of, and it actually came out phenomenal. But I really am thinking about doing clear coat on it. But not just any clear coat. Back a while ago I was at Hobby Lobby and they had a bunch of model car paints on clearance, and I happened to pick up a bunch of metal flake. It's Model Masters enamel number 2984 silver glitter. I'm going to do some tests here in a little while and see how that looks on the satin red. See if it actually gives it a clear or it's just going to throw some sparkle on it and then I'll need to add clear later. Now, I'm going for a contrast. Since this build, the interior is phenomenal. We've got room for all kinds of activities, and we've got a detailed dash, door panels, and Wes designed it to fit around the Ossum Designs rat rod seats. So I just took those apart. I've made cushions for it a while back, and I had them covered in a black t-shirt, and it's not going to go with the theme I'm thinking. Because I want a bright color inside. I want contrast. I want you to automatically be drawn past the chopped, detailed cab and the wild chassis and motor and stack and look at the interior. So, trying to find some little odds and ends. This is, if you remember way back to my very first rat rod build, the 32 Roadster, I made the steering wheel out of the other half of this. And this is a hose reel from a 1950s, or maybe early 60s Tonka fire truck. And it used to hold the little water hose you can pump water through. And it made a really cool steering wheel in that 32 Roadster. And I'm thinking, I like the dull galvanized look to it. It's very industrial. I'm thinking I'm going to use that for this. It's heavy, that's the only issue. And I have no way to attach it to the dash. The column length and stuff I think is good, but I haven't figured out yet how to actually attach it to the dash. There's a little spring inside of it. I may try to pull that out and drill all the way through, and maybe we can reinforce the dash a little bit. I can't show you the dash because I've got some color drying on it and the door cards as well. But originally I was going to do a two-tone on the body. I wanted to do red and white, but I don't know. It looks so mean red, and the red I used is a tester's paint, another discount deal from Hobby Lobby. Here's a lid. It was $12.50 flat red from Tester Spray Enamel, and that sprayed so well. It's a brand new can. I used almost the whole thing. Being a flat, it dries pretty quick. It's still, I'm not going to touch it for another day or so. I really don't want to mess it up because you can tell the amount of body work that Wes put in on that. It came out phenomenal. There's a few little imperfections, but it's mainly dust from just having it laying around the shop here while I'm doing other stuff. But not anything bad at all. I mean, I've made way worse paint jobs look way better, so I'm not worried about that. His body work really shines through. They just had a good coat of primer on it, and I didn't do any body work to it whatsoever. I took it straight outside and spray painted it. So, bravo to him for excellent styrene mastery. So, we're at these seats. Now, I made these seat cushions for these Ossum Design seats out of the rubber stuff that comes in your RC four-wheel drive axles. When you buy them, you've got the piece that the axle fits in, and you have a thin piece that sits behind it in the packaging. And it's very, very nice rubber. Way too nice to throw away. So I saved that here for seat cushions. I've got a couple pieces of that stuff laying around everywhere. I always like to recycle things like that. I'm going to have to let this stuff dry, and the body as well. I couldn't resist putting it back on the chassis, seeing it with some color. But I'm going to have to go do some shopping and see if I can't find some material that will match this color better. I do want to put it on the inside of the cab walls. like, you know, you've got panels over the back and the sides and stuff. Since we do have door panels, I want to, you know, I can't just leave that overspray red, and the way it's built, I can't take it apart to really get in there and paint it by hand. So I think covering the interior with fabric and maybe finding a different type of fabric for carpet, things like that, is going to be the way to go. Because I can do panels like you would have in a normal car. I can spray with the glue, let it get tacky, and then I can get it in there with one hand and glue it to the walls. If you see all these things laying out here, so I got creative one time. I got the idea from cyanide tube, using old watch faces as gauges, and I got on eBay and ordered a junk lot for like $8 shipped, and I used one for a dash that I made for the number 3 rat rod, which never got put in since that build went all about the hydraulics instead of the scale interior. But I had this bag laying around, and I've got 2 gauges down here that are the perfect size for the dash that Wes made. Now they are going to have to sit on top of these rings. There's no way for me to drill those out without breaking everything. As far as drilling styrene, I mean, I could probably take a Dremel and a small tip and try to cut around it, but the way the dash is made, I can't get behind it without undoing everything that Wes did. So I'm thinking I'm going to put those on top. I'm going to glue them on because my steering column is going to come out in between them. Those are the only round ones I have, so I don't have anything smaller for the other gauges. But I am going to paint all the details on the dash as well once that base color dries. And the whole dash isn't going to be this color. This is just for the insert areas. The outer edges and stuff, the door panels and the dash are going to be painted probably black. I'm not sure yet. Got my Moon Racing foot-shaped gas pedal. But I also found this. I went through my model car parts that I had from my original rat rod build. And these pedals, clutch and brake here, about the right size. So I'm hoping we can mount them below the dash somehow. And also, the little red knob on the steering wheel, this had the hole already. So I did this on the 32 Roadster. It's the original shift knob for that 1/8 scale model kit, and it's not in the best shape. It did crack when I threaded I think it's a 1.5 mil screw inside of it, but I got it on there tight. You know, it's not going to get actually used, so I think that's going to work well. It looked like a suicide knob on the steering wheel. It's a little touch. I'm probably going to leave the wheel bare metal. Next day, you saw I got some fabric. It didn't glue the same. It's very thin. It's a little thin cotton piece, and I could only glue it from the underside of the foam, so it was a little trickier getting those cushions covered. And the fabric being thinner also shows more of the defects of the seat cushion that I made out of the RC 4-wheel drive package. But it looks good enough. I'm not going to be too hard on myself on this one. Happy with the color matching. It's going to go with things better. Got the dash detailed, painted. Got my watch faces glued on my steering column mounted. It's not screwed on yet, but I've just got it shoved in there so we can kind of see the look of it. I'm afraid to tilt it up. I cut and glued those pedals on, and I'm thinking my moon pedal is going to mount off the floor. So these semi trucks, the conventionals like these older ones, the pedals come out of the floorboard. It's a very awkward driving position. You think it would be a little more comfortable. I guess it's not if you sit up real high in the seat, but those trucks have air ride seats, so you know, all the cool kids lower it way down. But anyway, we got got some felt here for the carpet. I've got black and red. I'm not sure yet how it'll look. I'm gonna have to cut a piece and try it. That's a sticky back felt sheet. You get those at most craft stores and even at like Walmart in the craft department. My shifter, I'm on hold. I ordered some scale G.I. Joe grenades, 1/6 scale. Hopefully they'll be here by the weekend. I would really like to have this video wrapped up by then. If not, we'll have to touch on it in a later video. But still not sure yet how I'm going to attach that. And we'll worry about that when we get there. The body is painted. And I like the satin red. And I kind of took a poll on Facebook and Instagram. And Facebook leaned more towards the satin paint. And Instagram, everybody wanted me to do the silver metal flake and make it shiny. So it was more towards the shiny than there were towards the satin. So I went ahead and did it. I'm not sure yet how it look. I haven't got it in here in the good lighting because it's still very wet. I put it's like a clear coat with metal flake in it. So I did 2 reasonable coats of that, and then I did 2 extremely heavy coats of clear coat to try to give it some more depth. So I got the door panels painted up. Not going super detailed on them. Not going to add anything other than the paint. They're pretty detailed as it is, and I think just the color contrast is going to really pop. So I've got the rest of this interior that I can't get to. I can't spray it. I can't really get in there with paint. I mean, I could, but it's going to be very troublesome. I had an idea for making like padded interior panels, and very similar like I did to the seats, except I'm not going to use foam to wrap the fabric to. I'm going to use this gel servo tape from RC 4-wheel drive. Now I got a bunch of that stuff with some mystery boxes a few years ago. I've been using it like crazy, and I still have 2 half rolls, so I don't know how much that stuff was or anything. It came in the mystery box, so I don't know. Seemed like a good idea. We'll see how it actually works out. But my plan is to kind of cut a few pieces, stick them to the fabric, trim the fabric around it, wrap it over, and stick it inside the cab. I'm going to do a couple pieces here, and we'll see what it looks like inside. The body's pretty well dry. It's been 24 hours since it was clear coated, and the sparkle has come out pretty good. It's not quite like I was envisioning, but I didn't want to keep adding to it. I sprayed 2 coats of the metal flake on top of the red, and it got a pretty good effect. We'll get some better pictures once we get to the end of the video. But yeah, so I'm going to try this out and see how it works. So I'm gonna wrap this video up. It's been kind of long-winded. Paint and body stuff really doesn't make for good video, and it just takes up time. So this week I haven't been as productive as I'd like, but we got the interior in. I've got my panels on the back. I'm still not sure what to do about carpet yet. But like I said, we'll figure that out once I get my shift knob and we figure out how to mount that shifter. The seats, the Ossum design seats, are just sitting in there, as well as the top. It's actually got, Wes put a little channel in up here, and this has little styrene rods, but they're not long enough to actually go in the channel. So I'm thinking I can just put a little bit longer rod, or maybe some kind of metal rod in there, and actually have it on the hinges. It's pretty well creased, so it's not going to stay. I won't be able to open and close it, but that way I don't have to do any kind of glue or anything bad to mount it. I can just mount it to the tracks and leave it, let it kind of flop around a little bit. But yeah, I haven't attached the steering wheel yet. I wasn't sure about the angle and everything, so we'll do that once we pull stuff back out and do the carpet. Pretty happy with how the back panels came out. They don't look fantastic up close. Just the edges and stuff are hard to, because that's only one width. And I'm sure there's a better kind of sticky product out there that would work for that. But that's what I had, so that's what I used. And with the seats in there, you can't really see. It just adds a nice dash of color. Let me know what you guys think. I was considered painting the windshield frames here silver. I'm not sure. I think I need to paint. I mean, I've obviously got to come back and paint some of the details on the firewall still. I was trying to touch this as little as possible because it's only cured for one day, and it's got quite a few thick coats of clear, so I wanted to give it plenty of time to finally dry. But yeah, let me know if y'all think I should paint that windshield surround. But yeah, let me get you some close-up shots here at the end so you can actually see, because it's really hard to see right now with the big camera. So anyways, appreciate you watching. Check out the slideshow. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Follow on Instagram, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Keep it scale.